Welcome back to PM News. The book Unfathered is a memoir of a girl growing up without her father. Now, many children across the country grow up without their fathers, and some of those tend to blame themselves for the absence of their fathers. Did their dads just reject them, or did they reject the idea of fatherhood? Well, here's an excerpt from the book. For a very long time, I blamed myself for intruding in your and my mother's lives. I blamed myself for my untimely birth. I felt as if I was an unwelcome guest who shows up uninvited just before dinner, forcing everyone to hide their plates of food until she is gone. I blamed myself for being the reason that two people who once loved one another broke up. How could I have been so cruel, so insensitive, and so untimely to break your relationship up? While my colleague Eben Janssen spoke to the author of Unfathered, Dr. Disa Mokhashana.
Give me a quick idea about the inspiration behind this book, because many people will tell us that absentee fathers is one of the reasons, one of the key drivers for the problems with masculinity that we have in South Africa.
Well, for me, actually, the inspiration from this book came from a place of pain. I had not been in touch with my father for about 4 months, and in that period, I thought, my dad is not there again, so I pushed it aside as usual. But this time I dreamt about him 2 consecutive nights, and I knew that there was something that is happening to me subconsciously that I needed to address. And I actually started writing as a way of allowing myself to let go of whatever it is that was troubling me subconsciously. That's how I started writing it. And it just started pouring out and pouring out. It was not initially meant to be a book. It was meant to be a way in which I was dealing with myself. But then it started to shape up.
Can a relationship with an absent father ever be mended going forward?
It can, but it must be understood that it's never fully mended. You can work through it, but there's still that pain from the past of, why did you leave in the first place? Was I unworthy? Yeah. What did I do to deserve you going away? So it can be mended, you can work on it. We've worked on mine with my dad for a long time, but it's never really fully.
There's so much water under the bridge, I suppose, and there's always doubts and difficulties that will probably live with you forever. As we saw from the excerpt, there's that almost guilt, a little bit of self-hate that comes into the picture. Now, some of the issues we have in South Africa are things like forced separation, alienation. Do you talk about that kind of thing in the book?
Yes, I do. I do talk about when the alienation mainly, when the times when I found myself alone and I didn't want to get up the next day because life was just too much, feeling unloved because of it, and sometimes you also become part of a new family setup. You become a stepchild. And in that situation, when things happen, you ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Why is it me that has to go through this? So
my father died when I was quite young, early teens, and I always yearned for father figures. Do you have that similar yearning for later in life? You're looking for father figures? Yes,
you do. You do. Because you always, a father is someone, especially for a girl child, is someone from whom you learn love, to be loved, to be accepted, to be worthy. And when he's not there for a period, you are always seeking that, and you are always looking for that. And hopefully, sometimes you actually just want him to love you in a particular way. And that can be quite challenging for an adult who still has the needs of a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old.
The baggage. I know, it's difficult, but it is baggage. Now, South Africa has a problem with masculinity, according to the experts. Masculinity is a problem because our fathers aren't always at home to help boys to become men. How do you kind of deal with that kind of thing? And how do you view the kind of #MEnAreTrash campaigns that we've seen recently that cause so much discussion?
So, the Men Are Trash hashtag, it's timely, it's important, it's harsh for men. That's why we have other campaigns that are saying, not in my name. But it's talking to the core of the issue. We are a troubled nation. Men, we have to address the issues that we are confronting, and a lot of them has to do with absent fathers. men do not have role models to show them what it's like to be a man. What does it mean to be a father? And that is creating a lot of problems in society, both for men and for women. But now it looks worse for men because then now they perpetuate, they become the perpetrators of.
Yeah, you always take on that violence. It's just a natural cycle. In conclusion, your message to the absent fathers who are out there right now, who live with the guilt but who are still not doing anything about it.
I say, I mean, as you can see, the situation in our country, we are hurting. It's time for men, for absent fathers, to take responsibility, to go back, to revisit whatever issues that they've put in the past, and to be there. Because if they don't take responsibility, their children will do the same thing over and over. So we are creating a cycle. It's already a cycle of a mess. So the fathers need to go out there and father their children. Just because you give them money, it doesn't mean that's all they need.